So for the parent that does not want to vaccinate but is petrified that they're going to get a child taken away from them, because people say to us that they don't want to vaccinate but they're absolutely petrified, and if they go to see a doctor they get so bullied and they get so frightened and they get threatened with CPS and all that kind of stuff. What advice would you give them?
Well, if it's a state where it's your choice, nobody else's opinion matters but yours. And if it's not law, then don't worry about it, because there's nothing they can do. If they want to call CPS, because it's not law. They can't force you to do it unless, it's mandated in your state. But
so know your rights as a parent
know your
in
rights.
your state, because they will lie to you and tell you that you have to have it to go to school, you have to have it to do this. We need a happy story. So
I have one.
Okay, well, marvellous. So how many children? First of all, what's your name?
Adair.
And you are?
Adeline.
Adeline. And your brother's called?
Zane.
Zane. And he's older than you, isn't he?
6.
Zane's 6 and you are?
5.
5. Perfect.
Yep.
Right, so is Zane vaccinated?
He's not.
So what on earth made you not want to vaccinate your children?
Well, right when I had Zane, I was a little iffy about it. That was 2010. And my stepfather, he is like a end-time pastor. And we went to this conference in Oregon. And there are all kinds of speakers, but also vaccine
What kind
awareness.
of conference?
I don't remember exactly what it was, but it just had a bunch of different speakers, and there were some vaccine awareness speakers, and we were a little iffy about it to begin with. So when we got there, and we actually listened to Rhonda Buess. Y'all interviewed her in California, Sonora, California, and it really, after listening to her story, it kind of solidified our non-vaccine agenda. And well, we didn't vaccinate him, and we didn't vaccinate her. Of course, that didn't go over well with anybody.
So tell us, when did you start to get that pushback? People saying, well, hang on a minute, why aren't you vaccinating? Or any of the bullying lines that you may have had?
Well, first, mostly my grandparents and my husband's parents, because my parents agreed with our decision because they also did research. But it's more the older generation that are kind of set in their ways and aren't interested in doing the research. They just do what they're told because they were told, and they really weren't interested. And they still think that, it would be better if they were vaccinated. But I'm not willing to take that risk.
So the most important question on all of this, because we are led to believe, especially by Senator Pan in California, who has said that children that are unvaccinated are a danger to the American population, also are not as intelligent as the vaccinated. What do you have to say about that?
Well, I don't agree with that at all. I mean, my kids are not just walking around with diseases. Obviously, she's perfectly healthy. I mean, she gets a cold just like any other child, and but yeah, I get that from friends too, who are worried about their babies. Say their babies, before their babies get vaccinated, there's like a window where they say, if my child is around their child when they're babies, then their child could pick up some disease that my kid doesn't even have, which I think is absurd, but that's like their logic. And I'm just thinking it's totally opposite, because when your kid gets vaccinated, I have to worry about mine because yours is going to shed a live disease and stuff like that. But I think it's ridiculous.
Are your children at school, or are they homeschooled?
No, I homeschool.
And why did you make that decision?
I don't like the school system at all. And also all of the behaviors that are picked up from other kids, and I feel like it's our job to teach our kids, and I had the opportunity to stay at home with mine, and I was homeschooled too, and I really enjoyed it, and I was able to graduate early and all that kind of stuff, and I want that for them. It's 18 years of wasted time, and I feel like they could get it done better and quicker.
Do you go to doctors at all?
I went when they were babies, because that's what you do when they're babies. I mean, we were anti-vaccine at the time, and our doctors were not very happy about that. So I only went a couple of times, and then I took them one time, probably 3 years ago, when they had gotten strep throat, and I went to get the antibiotics. That's the only time they've ever had antibiotics or anything like that. As far as, illness goes, it's probably the worst, and they had to take antibiotics. And the only time, they get sick just like other kids, and maybe not as often, I don't know. I'm not around lots of children to, make comparisons or anything like that, but they're pretty healthy.
So for the parent that does not want to vaccinate but is petrified that they're going to get a child taken away from them, because people say to us that they don't want to vaccinate but they're absolutely petrified, and if they go to see a doctor they get so bullied and they get so frightened and they get threatened with CPS and all that kind of stuff. What advice would you give them?
Well, if it's a state where it's your choice, nobody else's opinion matters but yours. And if it's not law, then don't worry about it, because there's nothing they can do. If they want to call CPS, because it's not law. They can't force you to do it unless, it's mandated in your state. But
so know your rights as a parent
know your
in
rights.
your state, because they will lie to you and tell you that you have to have it to go to school, you have to have it to do this, and you have to know your rights. And where do parents go to know their rights? Where would you recommend that they find out what their rights are?
I'd do some Google searching. That's what I did. I did lots of Google searching.
And also, if you're in Florida, there's a Florida Health Freedom. It's an amazing group of advice, and each state should have their own health freedom or.
And there's tons of information you can find online. A lot of people say, "Oh, online, it's not a good resource. You don't know if it's, legitimate or anything like that." I'm like, it's better than just listening to your doctor. Just do your research.
Right, all those snarky comments of, "Oh, you think you're clever with your Google.com degree."
Oh my gosh, I hate that.
Yeah, so don't be bullied. That's what you're saying.
Don't be bullied. I learned that.
Well, thank you so much. Now tell me, what's your favourite thing that you like to do? Do you like art? Do you like animals? Do you like cooking? Do you like maths? English?
I am going to cook stuff for people.
You are? It's a good thing to learn to do.
And she likes to read.
I got a pony book.
We went to the bookstore before we came here.
And what book did you get?
It's Pal and Sal. It's a pony book.
Pony. I used to love reading pony books. Yeah, but that's great. The thing with homeschooling as well is that
Yes.
children reading books again. I feel like we've lost that.
Yeah.
Well, you're doing an amazing job, and we're all really proud of you, and you give lots of people lots of hope. Now you can sign the inside of the bus, because the inside of the bus down here for children that haven't had any vaccines and they've survived, and that's you.
Yeah.
All right, so there's pen there. Can we turn the air conditioning back on before we all pass out? Thank you, Anu. How are you doing? There, people, there. It's an unvaccinated bus, and we'll become
And
an
you are number 224. So write number 224 and then put your name.
Right. 224.
Anywhere you want.
Thank
Just
you.
pick a place. It's okay.
Mommy, I want to go to you.
Okay.
You know what? It doesn't seem natural to write on a bus or on a car. It feels like you're vandalising.
Just have right number 2.